Good morning or good afternoon, welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be taking a look at the charming city of Rey Oaks, which is found a couple of miles inland from the beach right here in Monterey Bay, California. Now Rey Oaks is basically kind of a suburb of the whole Monterey Bay area, but it is its own city. It's one of the smallest cities to be found here in the county. There's barely 700 homes here, and at the last census the population was just under 1,600 residents. So today I'm going to tell you a little bit about the history of the area, how it became to be, what it's like to live here. I'm going to show you around the neighborhood and hopefully get the chance to show you a couple of places, see how much home you can get for your money. As always, my name is Andy Woolfoot, the British agent, realtor here in Monterey County. I get calls and texts all the time from people looking at upsticks and make a move out here to the beautiful Central Coast. So if you're thinking of making a move in 9 days or 90 days, please feel free to reach out. All my information is in the description below. Also a link on how to make a Calendly appointment so we can speak face to face about your move. I promise I will do everything possible to make your move to the Central Coast as smooth as possible. So Rey Oaks started out as a subdivision initially called Rey Woods. This whole area was originally owned by a Pacific Grove-based businessman called T.A. Work, who was a Scottish immigrant, bought up huge tracts of land around here. He actually bought the land from a real estate magnate called David Jacks, whom interestingly Jacks Peak is named after. Now the original deed for Rey Woods was passed in April 1941. Now as always with these old dated deeds, there were some interesting language used in the restrictions. The one for Rey Woods said, "No Mongolian, Hindus, Malays, Negroes or Filipinos shall use or occupy any building on any lot, except that this covenant shall not prevent occupancy by domestic servants of either the aforesaid races employed by an owner or tenant." And that deed restriction would have remained binding until 1965 when Congress passed the Civil Rights Act. Another interesting prohibition in the deed was that properties weren't allowed to be any closer than 20 feet to the road. So basically it's mandatory that you had to have a front lawn, as you can see in the properties behind me. Now in the 50s there were several attempts to make this suburb officially incorporated into Monterey and to Seaside. However, local residents weren't keen on that and there were strong political movements to oppose it. Eventually, in 1953, the residents officially voted to make Rey Oaks its own city to prevent further attempts at annexes. So the city was officially established, and once it came into being, it would only have one local policeman who was on call 24 hours a day, one part-time treasurer and a city clerk, and that was it. Nowadays, the city of Rey Oaks does have its own designated city hall, police department, city council, and planning and works department. Now the nickname given locally to Rey Oaks is the Sun Belt, which is an appropriate name today. As you can see, it's a gorgeous day on the peninsula. We got blazing sun everywhere, but even on days where it's a bit cloudy or we get some fog banks rolling in, Rey Oaks always seems to be very sunny, and temperatures here, they don't even get that hot. It's going to be pretty comfortably in the 70s, 80s, maybe even 90s all summer long. And the neighborhoods themselves definitely have that suburb feel to them. The houses are decent size, most of them going to be around 1,500 square feet, 3 beds, 2 bathrooms. A lot of them are ranch style, even though there's great views of the valley to be had if you build up a little higher. And the lot sizes in the houses here are very good as well. Most homes are going to have 7,000 plus square feet, so nice area of backyard to enjoy as well. Now as for the question, what is there to do around here? The answer is quickly not too much. There's only one restaurant in Rey Oaks, that is Tarpey's Roadhouse, which I gotta say is a fantastic place to eat. Quality of food is really good, it's a wonderful experience. It's more fine dining, even though it's got like Roadhouse in the name, so definitely recommend getting a bite to eat there. There's also a local church, there's some tennis courts, which I think are getting remodeled by the city right now. And there's also an arboretum, is that the word? Plant place where you can buy plants, like a garden nursery. Rey Oaks is also home to the local Moose Lodge chapter that's located just to the south of the city. Obviously that's a place that puts on community productions and has a bar, always nice to support the Moose Lodge. And that's about it. There's a local storage facility also and a local business park. So that leads us nicely to the question, how much does it cost to live here? So depending on your budget, there's going to be a few different options. If you're looking for something on the cheaper end, maybe about 500 to 600,000, we do have a condominium complex here called the Oaks. Most of these units are going to be around or just under 1,000 square feet, most of them 2 bed, 2 bath. One of the best things about the complex is if you get something on the north side, you get those wonderful views of the small valley that runs through Rey Oaks that I talked about earlier. There's about 200 of these units. They don't come on the market very often. I think we have maybe about half a dozen a year. The cost for a smaller unit is going to be about 600,000. If you've got a really nice unit with a view, a bit more square footage, and it's been beautifully updated, I've seen them go as high as in the mid 800s. Okay, now we're back in the main neighborhood among the single family homes. Now, Listings don't come up a lot here. In the last 12 months, there's only been 13 single-family homes put on the market. Most of them sold, usually within a few weeks. It is a popular destination to live. Most of them are going to be 3-bed homes. The square footage of the homes doesn't tend to get much more than 2,000 square foot, but there are a few homes that if you need a big family or something with 4 or 5 bedrooms, you might be able to find for sale. So you can expect to pay something in the 800s, 900,000s, depending on the condition and of course the square footage of the property. There was one property last year which sold for 1.35 million. That again was just a 3-bed, 2-bath, about 1,500 square foot, but that was very nicely upgraded and it had a gorgeous balcony with a view down the valley. And that brings us nicely to the latest and currently only property to be on the market in Rey Oaks. It's this one, 830 Avalon Place behind me. 3-bedroom, 2-bath, just under 1,200 square foot, and it's priced at 899,000. I have a feeling this one's probably going to get close to asking price. Unfortunately, I can't show you the inside today, so we weren't given permission to film inside. And that brings us to the end of this admittedly rather brief neighborhood walking tour of the city of Rey Oaks. Hope it was helpful for you. If you have any more questions, please feel to reach out. All my contact info is in the description below. If you're making a move to Monterey County, I will be delighted to help. Please feel free to get in touch and I'll do everything I can to help you have a smooth move to the Monterey coast. Thank you so much for staying all the way to the end of the video. I'm Andy Woolfoot, the British agent, realtor here in Monterey County. I'm gonna go home for a cup of tea. Looking forward to showing you around the place.